I'm Jason Lee, and you are tuned in to Tricky Talk.
Back here's to James Lloyd, who hits it low into the corner. Mass Wood, who gets it back here through Gibbs. Wood! Yeah! Towards the back post. Head yes! In! Igor Jesus! Back post.
Hello, welcome along to the Tricky Talks podcast. It's one of our favourite episodes of the year, and it's our season preview and predictions show. Here with me is the whole gang for the first time in what seems an absolute age. Can't remember the last time we were all together, but it's been a good and hot summer, of course. So, Chelsea, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited. The whole gang's back together. And yeah, I'm so looking forward. I'm fed up with friendlies. I'm fed up with transfer news. So yeah, bring on the season.
Yeah, the action is nearly upon us, and Kate is here as well, wearing the absolutely amazing new away shirt. I have to say, mine is in the post, but you're wearing yours now, Kate.
Well, I couldn't miss an opportunity to wear it. I wore it yesterday as well, even though it was a home friendly. Just because, yeah, it's green. What more do we need to know, guys? It's green. We all love it. Take our money. Done.
Yeah, one of the best away kits I've seen in a long, long time. And I'm surprised Marinakis went for green, though, Kate, because of the Olympiakos rivals, Panathinaikos wearing green. He plumped for that one.
Yeah, I know. I did hear that when the rumours started to come out that it was going to be green. Some people were saying Marinakis will never have green, but it's good, isn't it? It's good. It's very, very apt.
Yeah, talking a little story on kits. We'll come to you in a moment, Mollo, sorry, but little story on kits, and you know this story as well, Kate, that the kits are actually signed off a year in advance, aren't they, Kate? We know this story. So they've already signed off next season's kits. So what people don't realise, every year Adidas send Forest 18 different kits, 6 home, 6 away and 6 third kits. And the powers that be, or the senior managers, they talk about each kit and narrow it down to 2 final versions of each kit. So you get 2 final home ones, 2 final away ones, and 2 final third kits. And the final and deciding vote goes to Marinakis. So he's the one that each year determines what kits are for that particular season. But what they don't know is that they've already decided on next year's kits. They do it a year in advance. So just a little story there on kits that Kate and I heard when I was in Nottingham. But anyway, back to you, Mollo. Welcome.
How are we doing? Good to see you. Just on that kit thing, I bet the original stripes were white, and he said, look, it's 2 green and white, change the colour of the stripes and we'll be all good. It's magnificent, though. I ended up doing that thing that I never normally do because of my busy day on Friday. I drove down and I mistimed it. I left it at 8:45 thinking there'd be loads of traffic, and I have trouble parking or whatever. And of course, there was plenty of space in the car park. I ended up standing in a queue like a loser for 5 minutes till they opened the door, and then you're straight in. So it's literally pointless. Anyone who queued up at the start completely wasted time that they'll never get back. But anyway, so I ended up in there, and I didn't have to pay for mine. Woo.
Yeah, good to see you wearing a new home kit. Anyway, but can anyone guess what shirt I'm wearing today? Mollo, you might guess.
I do know this. I know this. My lads say, or anyone else.
Yeah. Go on,
Melchester Rovers, Roy Race.
It is, yes, the Melchester Rovers kit from the 1980s. Always one of my all-time heroes, Roy Race, as a kid growing up. Used to read the comic every week, and now managed to get myself hold of that home shirt from that era.
That's quality.
Well, Jeff, with that.
Like
right.
that.
Are you getting any of the new kits, Chelsea?
Well, I am. I'm thinking. I'm not a huge fan of the home kit. I've got to be honest.
It looks better in real life, to be fair.
Does it? Whereas the away kit, my cup of tea. I love Adidas Originals. I absolutely love it. So yeah, if I was going to pick one, I think I'm definitely going to be getting the away kit because I love it. Absolutely gorgeous.
I only bought this because I was going on holiday. This is so sad, right? I've got to be careful how I phrase this because I don't want to be offensive, but I'm not a big one for adults wearing football shirts at football matches, if that makes sense, of the team that's playing, and especially players' names. It just goes back to the 80s, I suppose. But I always buy the kit if it comes out before I go on holiday, just so I can wear it on holiday. And then, apart from on this show, if I go for a kickabout, which is rarer and rarer now, I'm fat and old, I just never wear my Forest tops. So they're clocking up in the wardrobe. That's why Ellie still wears mine from the 90s and the 80s. You know, everyone goes and buys these fake ones. She's got the originals from the 80s and 90s because I just never wear them. It's like, I know, weird.
You guys know Danny and I went to watch Paphos play Red Bull Salzburg in the Europa League qualifying while we were on holiday in Cyprus, and we stood at like a sore thumb because we were wearing our red Forest kits. Paphos playing blue, and everybody was wearing blue, and And in the middle of this crowd, in the middle of the ultras, were two red dots of people wearing the Forest kit. We stood out like a sore thumb, to be honest. But did get a couple of shouts of you Reds from other English folks that were there at the game. There was plenty of English people who were there on holiday. They decided to go to the game, and a few Forest fans as well, surprisingly enough. But
Forest all over the world.
Indeed. Yeah, walking through Paphos, when the restaurant owners try and get you in to go and grab a bite to eat at the restaurants, they were all, Marinakis, we love Marinakis. And they're all Marinakis fans over there as well in Cyprus. So that was good. That was good to get that kind of information as well. But anyway, enough about kits. Should we crack on with our season preview and predictions show?
Yes.
So just a couple of bits of news to begin. One bit of news, Taiwo Awoniyi's finally joined Coventry City. We all knew it was in the pipeline. It's been confirmed by the club today. Just a few words on Taiwo because we're going to miss him. He's an absolute cult hero for Forest, wasn't he? Just a quick word. Kate, I know you're particularly upset by
It
the
was
move.
really emotional when they brought him out yesterday because we weren't expecting it, were we? And then there he was. And I was just like, I think I put in the text my heart and it just like learned. I was just like, oh my God, it was just really emotional because like you say, he's an absolute hero. We love him. Everybody starts chanting, Taiwo, Awoniyi, please score. All of that straight out, all the cheers. And then they did the bumps with him, didn't they? And you just wanted to run on the pitch and give him a great big hug, which obviously I didn't do because I don't want to get banned. But yeah, that was just the feeling. It was just a really lovely, lovely moment. And I wish him well.
Yeah, we do.
Think of when they did the bumps was Steve Morrow and 17 million quid. As much as it was really emotional, I loved it. And I never bother with friendlies, I only went because it cost nothing. And it was exactly the same. It was really emotional. And when they were doing the bumps, all I could think of was, don't drop him and do a Steve Morrow. But,
yeah, he's given us some great moments, hasn't he? Namely, Brentford away, Mollo, and Chelsea away. And he made you cry, Chelsea, didn't he, when he scored to keep Forest up against Arsenal? I remember you saying before you cried like a baby when Taiwo scored against Arsenal.
I did. Well, it was just one of them games, wasn't it, where it was completely unexpected and it was like a miracle was just happening in front of you, and the fact that we stayed up and that was his goal. And I still remember, I believe his first goal was at in the Premier League for us was at West Ham at home, wasn't it? And Taiwo, he's been such a big part of Forest going up to the Premier League, and he really has, and especially like through the injuries that he's had and everyone rallying around him. But yeah, he's made me cry. All good things, obviously, and yeah, he's just a legend, isn't he? And we wish him all the best at Coventry because I'm sure he'll be absolutely amazing there as well.
I think you nailed it there, Simon. He's a cult hero.
Yeah,
definitely not a legend, but a cult hero.
Yeah,
because he's not scored that. He's 25 goals, whatever it is, but the importance of some of those goals and when he scored them, and without a doubt, we'd have gone down that first season if we hadn't had his goals. So, and I love the fact that some of his most iconic goals are shinners and knees and stuff.
What was his record? There was a record, wasn't there, that he took?
He scored.
Did he take it?
He was the highest scoring African player in the Premier League that year, and he did. Was it 7 on the trot when he scored at Old Trafford or something?
Something like that, 6 or 7.
Yeah, he had that little spell as well, didn't he? He had that little spell.
Stop it!
I can't forget. Was it Southampton, Brighton, Arsenal, or something? He scored about 5 goals in those 3 games.
Yeah,
basically, it was just. So, yeah, everybody loves Taiwo.
Yep.
It was on the cards, and we all wish him well, apart from against us, don't we?
We do.
Smart business by Coventry, by the way, because 17 million for a proven goal scorer, even if he only plays 20 games, he'll probably get an 8 or 10 goals.
And it'll be great in the Championship next season as well.
Brutal.
On to the season review then and predictions. There's one prediction for you. Let's start with just generically, what are our overall hopes for this season? We don't need to go into a huge amount of detail, but let's each of us express our own hopes for this season. I'm sure we're all hopefully singing along the same lines, but we'll start with you, Chelsea, in terms of your hopes and expectations for this season.
Not in a relegation battle. That'd be absolutely great. And I think for me, I hope that we're more settled as a team. I can't cope with any manager changes this season. I just can't. I can't do it. I want us to be settled. I want us. Sorry, Molly. I want us just to be settled. I want us to feel like just have that consistency that we lacked last season with all the manager changes and everything was so up in the air, which just felt like for the whole season. And I just want us to feel more like an established Premier League club where people start taking seriously. We're not the kind of clowns of like, oh yeah, who's got another manager? Or is that Mr. Bean or Mr. Blobby or whatever it was going to be? So yeah, not in a relegation battle. A nice, comfortable season and a settled season with a lot of consistency.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Kate. What about you? Are you hoping for something similar, or have you got your sights set a lot higher than that?
I do have my sights set higher than that. It's heart over head, isn't it, when you're talking about Forest, and especially at this beautiful time when a ball hasn't been kicked and everything seems possible. But I think for me, it's a one or the other season. So it's either a cup final or a good, strong finish in the Premier League. I'm not crazy enough to think that we can do both in one season, but one or the other feels possible.
Yeah, what about you, Molo?
4 words: top 10 and trophy. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm along the same lines in that European. I've said it before. European qualification is the aim again for this season. We had a taste of it last year, and given the ways to European qualification are numerous, so you can either do it through the league or through a cup win. And I think a cup win, like you say, has got to be the target now. We've had so many semi-finals now where we've unfortunately lost and not made it to the final. It's time to take the next step and get to a final, which is a route to European qualification with the added bonus of a cup win. But also, I think they're more than capable of doing it through the league as well, as you know, with lots of teams in various European competitions. Each of them are likely to find the balance difficult, like Forest did last year. So I'm looking at that as an opportunity as well to get a little bit higher in the league than we did last year. So they're my overall hopes. We ran a poll on Instagram, didn't we, around what the fans expecting and hoping for this season, and what were the overall results on that? Because I think there was a couple of categories which stood out more than the others. But are you able to share where it ended up?
Yeah, so there was quite a lot of votes really. So we had finished top 4, Europe here we come, mid-table, can we do a boring season, or another relegation battle. So another relegation battle was 4%, mid-table was 37%, Europe was 52%, and top 4 was 7%. So yeah, Europe seemed to be the favourite out of the poll. So
Save it up, Marlo.
Yeah, I think that's a fair reflection, isn't it, of the general fan base. You've not got too many at the top. You've not got too many thinking that they're going to finish down the bottom, and it's likely to be somewhere in between. So I think that poll's a good reflection of where people's thoughts are at the moment. On to some individual categories then. Let's start with top goal scorer. We'll go in reverse order then. Molo, who are you going to put down as top goal scorer? Obviously acknowledging at the time of recording, we don't know whether our top goal scorer has actually been signed. So let's stick with the names that we do know.
I'm going to go with, I know it was Morgan last year and sensational. I'm going to go with Jesus, purely based on pre-season. He's got a year under his belt. He's got all the attributes, it would seem, and he's obviously going to be working on it. He's not come across as a natural goal scorer, to be fair, but to be our top goal scorer, if you get in 12 or 15 normally, and fair play to Morgan Gibbs-White last year, who from midfield got even more. So I'm going to go with Jesus, because I think he'll be a shoo-in. I think on the FPL show that you did with Chelsea, brilliant show, but I really done my team now, and I'm like racking my brains and changing it. He'll play a lot, won't he? So I'm going to go with him.
I agree. Actually, I think we saw signs towards the end of the last season, didn't we, that he was starting to get into a rhythm and getting his goal-scoring boots on. And I know he had a difficult start, as you would have expected, given the fact he was coming into a strange league in a strange and foreign environment. Now he's settled for a year. I'm expecting him to kick on now, and he's got my vote.
More clinical, didn't he, towards the end? And
he did.
I know pre-season means nothing, but he's got a few goals under his belt for his confidence. So that does mean something in that respect, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Jesus for me as well. Kate, who are you going to go for?
Well, I've put Morgan Gibbs-White or yet to be signed. So quite similar to you guys. I think we're all anxious for a striker to be signed and for that striker to produce what we want, which is lots and lots of goals. But in the absence of him, I can't see it being anybody other than Morgan at the moment.
Okay, and who are you going to go for, Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm going to make it a hat-trick. I've just said Jesus as well. I'm in the same mindset where I don't think we've signed him yet. But, it took him a while to settle into the Premier League, to find his place. At moments last season, I always felt like he was, one step behind. Whereas, now since being in Europe, he's a more established player up front. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings this season.
Interesting. Nobody's gone for Chris Wood, the all-time Premier League top scorer. Interesting. Anyway, moving on. Maybe he'll appear in another category. Who knows? Right, breakthrough player of the season, Chelsea. Let's go back around the table. Who have you got as your breakthrough player of the season?
I have actually gone for Jesus again, purely because of what I've said before. I feel like he has come into his own, and like you said, from, coming to a different country, and even just a different way of living, language, everything in that aspect in his personal life, as well as trying to fit in the Premier League, which is the hardest league in the world. It is really difficult. And I just feel like he's going to be one of them players where it's just going to be a snowball effect. If he scores one, that ball is just going to keep rolling. And, I think, now with him, he'll start to be, as he has done more as well at the end of last season, being in the right place at the right time. Hutchinson's crosses. I'd like to see him, Gibbs White just kind of sitting behind him, and maybe him being able to just supply him with that. I think he could have a chance to be quite unstoppable. So I'm going to say Jesus.
Okay, and Kate, who's your breakthrough player of the season?
I'm going to agree with Chelsea on that one. That's where I've gone for Jesus, because he showed so much promise, but there was so much put on him last year. He did seem to come into his own towards the end. I'm not sure quite how he's going to play this season. I do think we're looking at the 210s, aren't we? And I think that he could actually fill that role, but that may not be a bad thing for him. So I think it's going to be a really, really good season for him. And I think we're going to be talking about him a lot, and a lot of other people are going to be talking about him and hopefully eating some words that they had to say last year. Yeah,
somebody else who could potentially fill one of those 210s is a player who I've got as my breakthrough player, and that's Dan Ndoye. I think he's got the opportunity now to perform well on the back of a good World Cup. Whether he's in the shop window or not, we don't know. But I think in a potentially a new role, which he started in a friendly, which one was it? Leverkusen, where he scored. I think he's got an opportunity now to showcase his skills, because I don't think he's suitable for Glasner's wide role or wing-back role, which looked to be nailed between Williams and Aina as it stands. I don't think Ndoye is suited for that. So I'm looking for him to establish himself and perform like the player we all hoped he would when he got signed a year ago, because it's fair to say he didn't last season. So let's hope he gets that breakthrough this year. Who are you going for?
Man, it makes me want to change my mind now, because I interpreted the question ever so slightly different. But I had forgotten about Dan Ndoye completely, and I agree with everything they said. The guy said about Jesus, and I think you're wrong about one thing there, because he played wing back reasonably effectively in Europe, so he could also fulfil that role if we were on a more attacking. That's by the by. And one of us did say last year, a year from now, and that was probably in about September, October, we'll be saying things about Dan Ndoye. I hope he doesn't leave, because I said there's a player in there, and I genuinely felt like he would be the one in his second season. But I'm going to stick with what I wrote down earlier today. Really interesting one, and I'm basing it on two things. One, noises coming out of the training ground. Two, the type of player we know he could potentially be. And it's a real massive risk, this one. So I'm being a bit left field. I'm going James McAtee. And by breakthrough, a bit like Dan Ndoye. Dan Ndoye did do some great things at the start of the season, didn't he? Whereas McAtee didn't show us very often what we know he's got. Apart from, I've banged on about this all last season, when a player's got that good a first touch, he's got a chance. So, and I don't know what his role's going to be. There's talk that he loves him in that midfield role, which is interesting. So I'm going to go a bit left field, because if we get the best out of what McAtee is apparently capable of, that could make for a very good season. We might not, and it might be someone completely different. So this isn't me saying it's for sure. So just a bit left field there.
Excellent, good choice. I did consider him myself, actually, but went for Ndoye. But what about your unsung hero, Molo? Who do you think is going to perform really, really well, but perhaps not get the recognition he might deserve for it?
I've thought long and hard about this one, because the natural one is Yatesy, but then in a sense, Yatesy does get recognition from the true fans, the true supporters, doesn't he? This was a tough one. So I'm going to go with Milenkovic, just because I think, as the categories will show later, we're going to have an awful lot of focus on our other two centre-halves nationally, because they're all brilliant players, I'm sure, but those two are fast, they bring the ball out, and they're ball players, and obviously we know Murillo's a ball player. I think on the last pod you did, you were talking to the prof about Murillo and what he can do, and it made me chuckle. But it's true. We're all waiting for that worldy 60-yarder or more of the goals like he scored against Fenerbahce. I reckon Milenkovic will be the guy. There's that glue in the middle, keeping it solid, leadership. Is he an unsung hero? Probably not, but I'm still going to say him.
Okay, what about you, Chelsea? Who's your unsung hero going to be this season?
I've gone for Milenkovic as well. Everyone knows how I feel about Milenkovic. I think he's just an incredible centre-back, not only for his defensive role, but his clearances. And also as well, I think what goes amiss with him is his leadership. He's so vocal on the pitch. And I've always said that he's got this captain energy about him. And I would love it to have a captain armband. I really would. So overall, him as an individual, I do think he, does go a bit under the radar, and I don't think people notice as much, like Molo said, where you've got, Murillo and that. So yeah, I would definitely go for Milenkovic.
You can't call your fantasy team name Milenkovic Kintyre, though, can you?
No, I know. I had to think of a name for him, but it's not happening yet. But you never know. I could change it. We've still got time.
Yeah. Right. What about you?
I've just realised that Wilf's fantasy team is called Awoniyi and Cheese.
Oh, he's going to have to change it.
Bless.
You still can keep that. That's just too good to lose.
It is. Right, Kate, who's your unsung hero going to be?
I'm going Milenkovic. And it's funny because listening to Molo's reasoning, it's exactly what I've written down, which just goes to show you how far we've come in a year as well, Molo.
I've been educating you now for long enough.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm joking.
No, I know. But yeah, like you say, it's all about Murillo, and I think there's a lot of eyes on Diamonde, a lot of excitement around him. But Milenkovic is he's so solid, he's so good at what he does, and I think that he's one of those players that if you're a Forest fan and you watch Forest week in, week out, you appreciate. And where he might get bypassed and missed by the wider media and the wider footballing community, but as a Forest fan, you know what you get with him and how good he is at it and how vital it is that he does it week in, week out. So I absolutely went for Milenkovic just the same. Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that we've all said a player that was our player of the year a year ago? I know it's nuts when you think about it, isn't it? But he was bypassed last season, wasn't he, completely in terms of conversation?
Yeah, I've got news. I'm not going to go for Milenkovic. I'm going to go for a player who I think has got the potential to do a really, really good job in his position, but may not get the recognition for it due to the players that will be surrounding him, and that's Schlager, the new signing. I think he's got the potential to do a really, really good job. Now, I'm not saying for one moment he's the new Elliot Anderson, he's the new Xavier Schlager, and I think he can fulfill a role and provide the skills necessary alongside Sangari, if that's where he ends up playing, without necessarily getting the glory or the recognition for it. So I think he's going to be my unsung hero. Remains to be seen, of course. But yeah, that's who I've gone. Right, from unsung hero to most improved player. And I'm going to kick off this one with a player who I'd already written down for this category, but then reinforced my decision with a really decent display against Brest at the weekend, and that's Luca Netz with a goal and an assist. And I know he showed glimpses last year of the player he can be, albeit there were times where, yeah, he did look a bit out of place. But again, he's a new player that needed time to settle, and I think he's got potential to push the likes of Aina for a starting role. I'm not saying for one moment he will supplant him in that role, but I think he's got the potential, and I can certainly see him as being one of the most improved. And Kate, what about you?
Well, if people are listening to this for variety, then they need to switch over to one of the others, because I think he's impressed in general in pre-season, and I know Molo's opinion on pre-season, but we've got to base it on something. And he's just shown me that he's got more to offer. And I think when he very, very first came, there's always that initial excitement, watching the reels, what's this guy capable of? And I don't really think that we saw it last season. There's a lot of potential there. And, I know we're going to touch on this a lot, but there's a new manager, there's a whole new staff in. We don't know which way they're going to go. And, a lot of the stuff that they're deciding will be based on pre-season and training as well. So for me, Luca Netz is a really good shout for most improved.
I wouldn't say variety is a good or bad thing. I would say it's great minds think alike.
There we
is
go.
what I'd say.
Great minds
Yeah.
think alike, yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea, who are you going for? Don't say Milenkovic.
No, I'm not saying Milenkovic, don't worry. No, he doesn't need any more improvement. He's already great enough as it is. No, I love you, Molo. I've gone Sangari.
What, for next season?
For next season, I'd
Okay,
like to see him.
yeah.
I'd like to see
He was
him.
most improved last season.
Well, yeah, I see. He can only keep getting better. Keep getting better. Yeah, I just feel like obviously with midfield, looking a bit more empty now that Sangari's gone. Anderson's gone. I feel like maybe he needs to just he needs to step up his game even more so now. Maybe actually, going in for challenges, holding his own a bit more. So I think maybe there's going to be this consistency as he was improved last year. Hopefully he can keep going and get more improved this season.
Yeah, Molo, are you going to go for a Sangari again, or
Yeah,
are you
he
going elsewhere?
No, because his step up in improvement from the previous season to last season was about a gazillion %. So if he does that again, then he'll be okay. I've just got to ask one question. Luca Netz, who I think is far better suited to a wing-back role than a back four, obviously, and that's what we've got. But who does he replace, Kate, if he does become our most improved player and play regularly? That's my question.
Well, that particular player can go anywhere, can't he? So.
Yeah, kind of right. But no, I can't see anyone taking Williams' place anytime soon anyway because of his sheer consistency. I went Dan Ndoye just because I've got to back up what I said last season about he's a player that I think we're going to see. I said after a year of settling in and whatnot, I think we'll see the player he really is. And we'll be saying, I hope we can keep him a bit like we did with, my brain's gone, that really fast winger that went to Newcastle.
Alanga.
Yeah. Alanga, that season he had, he was very, very good and we were desperate to keep him. I think come the end of next season, we'll be saying the same things potentially about Dan Ndoye. I really hope so, whether that's as a wide player kind of wing-back role or as one of those 10 roles, time will tell. But a lot of competition, though, in both positions. So I'm going to go Dan Ndoye.
Yeah, good choice. We talked about Taiwo Awoniyi being a cult hero at Forest. Now he's been sent to Coventry, literally. Who's going to be the new cult hero, Molo? Who's going to take his place?
It could be Schlager, actually, because I missed that one on I missed that on my list. Schlager, purely because if he stays fit, he's clearly a very good technical player. Very, very, his touch, his awareness, everything he's got, his passing, his driving, all that sort of thing. You can tell even in the pre-season that he's got that. But he also, again, he was very dominant physically, which is going to be a very different kettle of fish. But I don't feel like he'll be needing as long as players often do to settle into the physicality. Maybe the speed, but the physicality of the Premier League, because he's a unit, isn't he? And it's whether he stays fit. I noticed on the friendly on Sunday he had about 10 metres of strapping all over one of his legs. I'm thinking, manage his minutes. But yeah, I'm going to go Schlager.
Chelsea, who's your new cult hero?
I've gone for Ola Aina. I just feel him on and off the pitch. I feel like last season he didn't shine, did he? Bless him, because of his injury. And I feel like that, that really affected him. And obviously being out for quite some time, not only just on the pitch, he's a great right back. And then the fact that in the dressing room as well, he's such a big character with the fans. He equally is as well. And I just feel like he's a really good all-rounder for the club. So I'll say he's my cult hero this season.
Okay, and Kate, yours?
No, I like yours better now. Chelsea. I went for Schlager as well. Schlager gives me like Yates vibes in some respects. And I feel like, that's not a bad thing in terms of he can be a little bit niggly, he can get on people's wick, but he's much, much more technical and does seem to be, I don't want to say an improved version because I love Yates, as we know, but I don't know, there's just something about him that makes me think we're going to fall a little bit in love with him for that, for not being afraid, for going in for things and also showing, that real technical skill to back it up. So yeah, and I already like saying Schlager. I like it.
Schlager.
Yeah, Schlager. So yeah, that was my reasoning. I went for Schlager.
Okay, I'm going to go for a player who I think has got the potential to be a massive hero amongst supporters. He's young. He's reportedly really, really good. He's big. He's physical. And that's Ousmane Diomande. I think he's got the potential to win the fans over really, really quickly with his style of play. And I can see him being a cult hero amongst fans if he lives up to the billing and his fee and plays really well. So that's why I went for him. Right, on to the next category, most to prove. We'll start with you on this one, Kate. Who do you think, which player or manager has got the most to prove this season?
See, this is where I went for James McAtee, because I think expectations of him are quite low after last season. And actually, I do think we're overlooking something there. And I'm hoping that is one of the many things that Glasner's going to bring. Because if you can get a player of McAtee's quality doing what he should be doing effectively, then there's no denying you've got a really good addition to the squad there. And funnily enough, I saw him and spoke to him at the end of one of the games, and the person that I was with asked him about, how he felt about next season, and that they were the words that he used himself. There's an awful lot to prove. And that really stayed with me. So when I saw most to prove, obviously my brain went there straight away. So he knows he's got a lot to prove. He feels it. And I really hope he gets the opportunity to do it this season.
Yeah, like it. Chelsea, who do you think's got the most to prove?
I've gone the same as Kate. I feel like I was so excited when we signed McAtee, I really was. And it just felt a bit flat, didn't it, afterwards? There was a lot of hype and then yeah, obviously there's a lot of factors, minutes, game time, obviously managerial changes, you name it. But I feel like this season it's either going to go one way or the other. I don't think there's going to be any in between with McAtee. And I feel like now it's almost saying, right, the floor is yours. Show us what you can do. And hopefully he does do that. But I think, I had a really good think about this and I went through the whole squad, and out of all of them, it was McAtee for me personally.
Okay, interesting. Well, I like that. Mollo, who do you think's got most to prove?
On the FPL thing, because I remember the prof talking about Bakwa, and he was someone was in my thinking, and obviously McAtee, but I've already awarded him. I'm going to go with the guy who's going to have to really step up, and you've already mentioned it, in Sangare, because he hasn't got anyone to carry him in midfield physically. He's got to, it's the way we play is different, isn't it, now? We've got 3 centre-backs, gives us a bit more stability, potentially 5 at the back when we need to defend well, but that midfield is still where games tend to be won and lost. So for me, without Anderson in there, and obviously there'll be somebody, could be Schlager, could be Yates, whoever it is, it could be McAtee, who's also got a lot to prove. I'm going for Sangare because he's got to prove that he can be the main man in midfield, because he certainly wasn't last year, regardless of his improvement. The main man in the league, never mind at Forest, was Elliot Anderson, who Man City look like they've already ruined. But anyway, let's not go there. So for me, I'm going to go Sangare, and not just because I'm quite harsh with him, but because when he's got the ball at his feet, he can ping a pass. When he gets a chance to shoot, he can absolutely hammer it. When he gets a chance to thread a through ball, he can see a pass, but we just don't see anywhere near enough of it, because he hasn't had to. And defensively, he's not very good at winning tackles or headers. So I want to see that midfield too have got to be more progressive anyway, because they've got those 3 behind them. And that's the whole thing about this system with the midfield when it's played the way he likes it at Palace. Their midfielders are very important players in the attacking third, aren't they? And that's where Sangare is at his very best, when he's got that ball at his feet. He's one-touch passing, he's shooting, all that. No one's questioning that, but we just didn't see enough of it. For me, for 30 million quid, which you could say the same about McAtee, but I'm going to go there. Be different.
Okay, I've gone for somebody different as well, and I've gone for a young player who has been on the edges of the first team squad for a couple of seasons now, and we've heard a lot about him and how much he could potentially play a role in the future, but it's time to show that, I think. And I acknowledge that he's young, and I'm talking about Zach Abbott. I know he's young, and I know that he's got a lot of competition for playing time at his role, but if he's not going to be a regular in the first team, then for the sake of his own development, at least get him out on loan so he can get a season at another club where he's playing week in, week out. Because if he doesn't get that, then I fear for his minutes this season, to be honest, given the fact we've now got 3 strong centre-halves. Plus, you have the likes of Jer Cunha, Morato, even Tyler Binden yet hasn't gone out on loan, so we don't know what's going to happen to him. So there's a lot of competition for places for Zach Abbott now, and I'd really like him to succeed at Forest. But I think he needs to show some development in order to make one of those roles his own, basically. So, yeah, that's why I went for Zach Abbott on that one. Right, on to the cup competitions. Don't need to go into too much detail, but just want you to provide the round that Forest will get to in each of the two major competitions, starting Chelsea with the Carabao Cup? Which round do you think Forest will reach?
I was stuck on this one, but I'm going to say round 4.
Round 4.
Round 4.
Mollo.
Carabao.
Yeah.
We're lifting it. Completing it, mate.
Winners. Kate, are you as optimistic as Mollo?
Out on Tuesday.
Hey, dude, that's not a bad team of stiffs we've got there, to be fair.
I really don't like the draw at all for the Carabao. I don't like Leeds at home. Don't like it as draw. It gives me the, don't like it. Out on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm got the same. I don't like it either, and I'm really, really worried that, one of the major routes to a European trophy is going to slip through our fingers in the first week of the season. I hope sincerely it doesn't, but I don't like the draw either. I'm concerned. I'm going to the game, got the tickets today, but I'm really concerned that they're going to let that opportunity slip through, which cuts down the odds of making European qualification by a third already.
Do you think Leeds will go strong, though?
I don't know.
4 visits in 2 visits in 4 days.
Not sure.
And do you think their squad's stronger than ours? Forget the
Overall,
first
no.
11.
It's all about team selection on the day, I think.
It is, yeah. It really is, yeah.
I think our stiffs will be all right.
Okay. Will our stiffs perform any better in the FA Cup, Mollo?
I love the FA Cup, as you know, but I feel like that's the nuts and bolts of the season. By January, we'll be getting ready to lift the Carabao Cup. Our priority will be the Carabao Cup and the league. So I'm going to say 5th round after a couple of easy draws where the stiffs go through.
Yeah, I've got 5th round as well, actually. The reasoning behind both of these, actually, is I'm never right on these things. So if I predict an early exit, reverse psychology means they're going to go quite far. So hopefully all the players in the squad are listening to this and will ignore me. But I'm going for 5th round as well. Chelsea.
Now you've made me nervous to say mine now, Simon. I don't want to put like a bad omen out there, but I want to win silverware. And ever since I was little, I've always wanted to see us win the FA Cup. So yeah, I've gone final. I don't want to say.
Not the question.
I don't want to say.
You said how far. You didn't say.
Yeah, I don't want to say. I'm not saying it.
Okay, we'll stay with you, Chelsea. Where do you think we're going to finish in the league?
I've gone 10th. I've gone 10th with an FA Cup win into Europe. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Quickly, I've said it.
Yep, like that. Kate?
Do I not get to predict the FA Cup, Simon?
Did I not? I'm sorry. Go on then. Yeah, FA Cup then. Sorry.
We get on it. In the same way that the Leeds draw gives me the heebie-jeebies, it's the dream. It is the absolute dream to win the FA Cup. And I would take 17th in the FA Cup. I will. I'd take that right now. Offer it me right now and I take it.
Yeah.
Not that I think that's not necessarily what I'm predicting, but for me, that's the final. It's the thing that Clough never did. It's the thing that I've never seen, and it's Glasner. And this is where I go right back to my first thing of heart and head. I want to win the FA Cup.
Yeah, I like that. I'm sorry, I forgot you, Kate. I was writing down all of our predictions.
Outrageous.
As I've gone all the way through, and I wrote Chelsea's winners against your name. That was my mistake. We'll come to you for the league, though. Did you say 17th?
Well, what I've said is, if we don't win a cup, then I think we're going to finish 7th. If we do win a cup, I think we're going to finish 15th.
Okay, and Mollo?
7th and Carabao Cup. That's what I said. But I still have mental scarring from the 91 Cup final, though. So it's like, I'd love to get to the Cup final and win it, but just to get to that final, it'll all come flooding back, won't it? That cheating, Geordie chap. Anyway.
Yeah, for years, I couldn't watch the 91 final, any of the highlights, or every time Gary Mabbott lifted the cup on A Question of Sport intro, I had to look away. I just couldn't face it.
I still see the tackles pop up from time to time, don't they, on YouTube or on social media.
Yeah.
And you just think,
I was 11.
What was Roger Milford looking at?
Yeah, it's the first time I remember being truly devastated about football and sitting and just crying as an 11-year-old child. Yeah.
We feel old now.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 10th, like Chelsea. I think 10th is reachable. And I think, depending on how the squad play, I think they can potentially set their sights higher, but everything has got to fall into place. They've got to have a bit of luck. They've got to stay clear of major injuries. If all of that and the new signings have got to perform, and settle in well. I think if all of that comes together, they've got the potential to do really well. But for now, I'm going to settle on 10, which coming to the end now, we've got 3 categories to go. We're going to start with, though, and hopefully you've all had time to think of a bold prediction for this season. Can be absolutely anything, but what are your bold predictions? And I'll kick off on this one, in that my bold prediction for this season is that Morgan Gibbs-White will become Forest's all-time Premier League top scorer, overtaking Chris Wood. Chris Wood's on 38. Gibbs-White is on 32, so he's not too far behind.
That's not a bold prediction. That's a certainty.
It is,
Unless
because
Chris Wood keeps scoring, I suppose.
exactly. So you just don't know how the goals are going to be distributed this year. But that's by the end of the season, Morgan Gibbs-White will be our all-time Premier League top scorer. So what about you, Mollo?
So many of these, and we're going to lift a trophy and all that sort of thing. But I'm going to go for, and it ties in because we haven't done the Young Player of the Year yet. It ties in with that. And I'm going to go for, we are going to see a 16-year-old play in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup and come off the bench. And someone that we'll hear a lot of over the next few years, I think. Won't name him yet because we've still got a category to go.
Okay, interesting. Hold that thought. Right, guys, who? What are your bold predictions?
That we're going to win at Anfield for a 3rd season in a row.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Yeah.
what I've got.
Yes, Chelsea.
Yeah, I think it's possible, you know. I think Liverpool have not had a good pre-season, touch wood.
No, we know what that means.
What's that?
Nothing. That's what it means when they've not had a good pre-season.
No,
That
true.
new centre-half is quite useful by all account.
Right, okay. Good set of bold predictions. Let's move on to Young Player of the Year, Mollo. You've got us intrigued, so I'm going to hold you to the end. And we'll start with you, Chelsea.
Young player of the season. So I've gone for Murray Hutchinson because he's 22, isn't he? So yeah, I've gone for him. He does excite me, and as I said before, I've always been his biggest critic. I do get a lot of stick from Taiwo fans going, "Oh, you said that he was going to be so rubbish, and now you're so excited about him." I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. So I ate my own words anyway. But, you know, as when I do see that he does offer a lot of potential, and we have seen him grow over the last season, especially within Europe as well. You know, he's able to slingshot down the line. He's, you know, pinpoint crosses that he does, drives into the box well, and, you know, he's still only 22. So, yeah.
Pre-season means nothing because he did absolutely none of that yesterday.
Yeah, I don't like pre-season, don't like friendlies. I block it out completely. I completely block it out. It's just, yeah, no.
I'm going to go for Diamande again. I think at 22,
Yeah.
he's got the potential to, and if he does become a cult hero, as I think he might do, then he's clearly going to have a good season. And I think Diamande is my vote for Young Player of the Year. Kate, who are you
Well, I
going
thought
for?
about going Diamande, but I thought 22 was too old for Young Player of the Year. So I went De Silva Moreira, which might be absolutely impossible because he might not actually make the squad or play. But I liked him, and I know nobody likes pre-season and all of that stuff. But the ones that I've watched, which is all of the home ones so far, I thought he was decent. I thought he had a bit of something that I'd not noticed before. Obviously, he has been out on loan, so I would like to think he's got something to offer. Nobody's thinking about him. Nobody's talking about him. If he gets in and we have a nice cup run, then I think maybe he could be in for a shout.
Good one, and good one. Mollo, who's this young player you've got your eye on?
I've got an ever slightly vested interest because I used to coach and teach his dad, but he's only 16, I think, this season. He's already played England under 15s. He's already scored goals for our under 18s. I think I saw him on Sunday because the academy boys do the ball boy stuff, and he looks like he's grown a bit. So I'm going to go, and I don't know if I'm saying his first name right, which is terrible because I'm rubbish with names at the best of times, Azai Bonic, who kind of is a bit of a YouTube sensation. If you want to see what he's like when he's 6 years old, it's all on there with the Bonic brothers, because his brother plays for Forest Green now. But he's a kid who's just, you know, some people just look like the ball was born to be at their feet, and there's not many of them. You know, Paul Gascoigne was one, albeit that he had Gary Parker's chest at his feet more. But anyway, I just think if we are going to blood a few in the Carabao Cup, even though we've got this massive squad, and I know we're probably trying to offload a few, he might get a chance this season off the bench in the Carabao Cup. I hope so, if he's ready, because he's already played under 21s as well, I think. So he's getting closer and closer. And he is a watch this space guy. I don't want to put pressure on the young lad. He, not that he seems to care. He just looks so natural on a football pitch. It's untrue. If you get the chance to watch any of the academy boys, he's the one that you just look and think he's got a very, very good chance. You know, he's already one of the best kids considered of his age in the country. we'll see, but I could see him getting a few minutes out wide. And in terms of young player of the year, he might win it anyway without playing for the first team, but that was just my shout.
Yeah, what position does he play then?
Anywhere you want. He's that good. But kind of midfield, he tends to play centre mid, right mid, up 10, up front. He's very, very attacking, and he scores unbelievable goals for kids. He's been able to smash a football since he's about 6 years old as well. His ball contact is insane. So he scores all sorts of goals. You know, there's clips out there of him basically taking on a whole team and scoring. It's I don't want to build someone up as to say, oh, look, this is the next Messi or anything like that. I'm not being that daft. But he's got a real chance of making it and being an academy lad, probably the first one since Jono to establish himself in the side, if Zach Abbott doesn't quite get there sooner.
Well, remind everyone of his name again, Molo?
Zay Bonnick.
Zay Bonnick. Okay,
Yeah.
one to watch out for then. We'll wait with interest to see what happens with him. The last and final category, the big one, the player of the year. Els, will start with you. Who do you think is going to get the 2026-2027 Forest Player of the Year award?
I think it's got to be Gibbs White. I think, especially like after with Nico Williams winning it last season. I think obviously with Anderson going as well, there's a bigger hole in midfield, and I just think Gibbs White is just only getting stronger and getting better, and I just feel like he missed out on that last season as well. Obviously, Nico rightly deserved it as well. But I think there's plenty more goals, plenty more assists from him this season, so I want to go Gibbs White.
Okay. Kate, who are you going to go for?
I'm also going to go for Morgan Gibbs White. I still think he's our main man. I still think even in this new system, it's all going to hinge around him and how he plays and how he does. And I am absolutely on board with that. I love the guy. Yeah, just go out and show them what you've got, Morgan. We're all behind you. Player of the season.
Yep. Molo?
Well, I was going to go for that guy.
I can't see who that
Who's
is.
that?
Sorry, it was Morgan Gibbs White. I've bumped into them in West Bridgford. No, I'm actually going to go Diamondi, more in hope than anything else, because if he's our player of the year next season, not because I don't think he'll be good, but it means he'll have settled in straight away, he'll have been brilliant, and injury permitting, the two either side of him are just brilliant. So if all three of them are brilliant, nobody's scoring very often against us, which is what you build from the back, don't you? That said, I totally get. I love Morgan Gibbs White. He is our attacking threat, isn't he? So, but no, I'm going to go for Diamondi more because of what it could mean for the season.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Gibbs White as well. I think he's going to play this season with a massive chip on his shoulder, having missed out on England's World Cup squad. I think he's fresh as well. Of course, he's not got a tournament to recover from. So I think you're right. He's our main man, and I'm fully expecting him to have a really good season for Forest, and will get my vote for Player of the Year. So that's it. All of our categories are now done. Any final thoughts from you guys on either the season as a whole coming up or anything else you want to bring up, Kate?
So I do have something I want to bring up, and I hope it's okay. So I want to just have a little minute to talk about my Auntie Ros, who passed away in the close of season. She was one of the original Garibaldi girls, first visiting the City Ground in the 1950s, and I emailed the club about getting her in to the programme and up on the big screen as the Forever Forest, and they were lovely in the way that they responded. They emailed back to say they don't do the big screen anymore, but she is going to feature in the programme at Leeds, and there's a lovely message that's going in there from her sons Mark, Patrick, Kevin and Stephen, and I just it's going to be weird sitting in the City Ground and knowing that she's not there. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Ros Thompson, my aunt, who one of a lifelong Forest fan that's no longer with us, up there watching it with me dad now. So I just wanted to say that she loved listening to us, guys. Last year she loved listening to us, and loved that I was doing this. So miss her.
Nice words. Chelsea, anything from you?
Just really looking forward to the season starting again. I really am, and I just hope we're in for a good one. I just want a great season, and it's good being us four back all together again. Love it. Can't wait.
Okay, Molo, anything you want to bring up?
It's hard to follow that, okay? But echo what Chelsea said instead. Can't wait for the season to start. As much as I hate pre-season, going on Sunday made it sort of think. I was saying to my lads, it's going to be electric, isn't it, on Saturday against Leeds? Cannot wait. And that and first away game at Liverpool, it's not a bad start, is it? Well, might be a bad start, hopefully not, but an exciting start. Can't wait. Bring it on. And the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just from me, we're looking to bring you 2 shows a week now, aren't we? One with a review of the weekend's games and another later in the week, which will be our preview show of the game coming up the following weekend. And we've got loads of new stuff planned for social media as well. And we've already started one, having a weekly poll. We've got some other new features which we're going to be putting out on social media throughout each and every week during this season, which leads me to just remind everyone to join our Fantasy League. The link is in our socials, but the code is 17S8PO. And for anyone who hasn't heard it yet, go back and listen to last week's show where we had the professor from Lazy FPL on specifically to talk about Forest.
You mean
and that was a really
to find
good
out
show.
how Simon won the league last year with extra help that we didn't know about?
I don't even need it now, Mollo.
Shots
But
fired.
he's an excellent guest, and if you haven't signed up for the Lazy FPL newsletter like Chelsea's going to do, please do so, because it's an excellent newsletter full of loads of hints and tips on how to manage your FPL team and your season. So encourage everyone to follow Lazy FPL. But that's it. Our season preview and prediction show is now coming to an end. Don't forget to follow us on social media throughout the season, of course, and we'll be back later in the week with a preview of our first game of the season against Leeds United. So thanks everybody for listening and for watching, and we'll talk to you again real soon.